Da, da, theme song. Da, da, da.
Happy Sunday, Nick.
Happy, beautiful weather Sunday, Tanya.
It is beautiful weather.
It's like 80 degrees. It's breezy.
I know. You should be outside playing instead of talking about books.
That's my book propaganda I have ever heard. What's that one Jill Scott song? It's like Cumulus Clouds.
Oh, yeah.
Da, da, da. Like that's what Love Rain down on me.
Yes. Yeah. For previous episodes, find us at thousandeyespodcast.com. On YouTube, you can find us at 1,000 Eyes in One Podcast. If you'd like to follow us on social media, we are 1,000 Eyes in One on Instagram and Facebook, 1,000 Eyes Pod on Blue Sky, and if you're interested in our Speculative Fiction Book Club, follow Wine on an Empty Stomach on Instagram.
Yeah. Shout out to New York City for making me late and also for postponing the last stream. I want to show my shirt because I love it.
Aggressively helpful is hilarious.
Progressively helpful is funnier. Let's run our campaign on that. Well,
today we're talking about Mrs. March.
Do you want us to tell the story or should I?
You go ahead.
Once upon a time on March 17th, we were supposed to stream and talk about this book. This book, Mrs. March, is the debut book novel from Virginia Feito, who we covered when we did Victorian Cycle. And I loved it so much that I was like, fuck yeah, Ton, you got to read this shit. I'll have like move this to the top of your TBR, right? And we were so excited about it that we thought we did it already and forgot that we postponed because of whatever reasons we had to postpone. So for weeks, we were like going back to the stream. I was trying to cut social clips and shit because I'm trying to do that now. And I was like, how come it says it's still uploading? And Tanya's like, it says that on my end too. And
I was like, that never happens.
That never happens. Like, do I need to contact YouTube? What's going on? Because we were convinced that we'd streamed this.
Like, I vividly remembered it.
Yeah, talking about it and everything. But it was a joint hallucination, and we never did. So here we are to talk about Mrs. March. I'm so excited. Man.
Where do we begin?
We begin, like, is this a book that you can spoil, actually? And I don't mean, like, we should spoil the book. I mean, like, no matter what we say about it, is it actually a spoiler?
I think if we don't reveal the ending.
Right. I mean, the ending, we would never do that. It's all about the ending. Yeah. It really, really, really is. Because I'm opening other windows. Because what unhingery that is unfolding here. And I think I love this book. I've listened to it like 4 or 5 times now. I've read a couple times because it's enjoyable. And I can't think of other books really off the top of my head where I've experienced something, but the next thing that happens is so crazy that I forgot about this other thing that actually may have stacked up to this thing until I reread it, right? I'm like, oh, wait, that happened too. Oh. And then if you're a little bit crazy, you'd be afraid that it's relatable sometimes.
I will say, Virginia Feito has a knack for getting inside a crazy person's head.
Yeah, for real though. And I love that because that's a gift. That is a gift. Well, synopsis.
Who is Mrs. March? Mrs. March is the wife of author George March, and he just had a novel come out that is considered to be his magnum opus. And it's all about a prostitute named Johanna that nobody wants to sleep with. And Mrs. March begins to believe that the story is about her. And she becomes increasingly unhinged and starts doing really crazy things.
And, I think what is interesting to me about this book is that we often talk about whether it's 30 Tuesdays or whether it is Wine on Empty Stomach, Tanya's replacement fear. And I didn't realize that that was a thing that was going to come up in this book until I started reading it. And then I recommended to her, read it again. And I was like, how do we keep ending up here? Dormammu, stop! But there's a little bit of that. Mrs. March is the most paranoid person that I have, like maybe the most paranoid protagonist that I've ever come across. She's also, in a way, the antagonist too. Yeah. You know, and it's like really crazy to think about. The whole premise of this book is her just knowing that her husband's new book is all about her, and for everybody else to recognize that.
And also, as like a thing that we keep forgetting, is that she also thinks he murdered someone.
Well, there's that too. There's that too, which, you know, goes into the paranoia. She is a character. She's a character, and I think that on many levels, this is very meta, because here she is being afraid that she's acting like the character in the book and that she's being perceived that way. And the way that we're perceiving her is like the character that's in the book, right? It's like nobody likes Johanna, really, right? Like, she is a sex worker who is so pathetic and so ugly that nobody actually sleeps with her. And she makes a living because they feel bad about not wanting to sleep with her, you know? And she, Mrs. March already has issues, you know? She feels totally self-conscious. She thinks it's a weird type of narcissism paranoia, which maybe we should look into a little bit more, where anytime anybody is talking, it's about you, and any future move you do, it's to make sure that other people don't think that you're crazy, or what are they going to think? And keeping up appearances in a way that I'm so glad to be unfamiliar with.
And she thinks that everybody is either laughing at her or gossiping about her.
Mm-hmm.
Everyone around her. It could be the radio, and she thinks somehow it's speaking to her and mocking her.
TV, making eye contact with her husband when he's doing an interview.
Yeah.
On TV, though, across the pond.
Right.
He's speaking these lines directly to her, and we're just like,
yeah. No. The book opens with her self-deprecating, I guess, thoughts about her ugly hands and her gloves that her husband bought her, and they're this beautiful color that she never chosen for herself. But she's not that brave. She's not that brave, but she likes the idea that people will see her in these gloves and think she's the type of woman to just throw caution to the wind and buy the crazy colored gloves.
Yeah.
And it takes one awkward moment in her favorite bakery that she's been going to for years for her to decide she's never going again. Ever.
Yeah. And her and her husband met way back in college when he was a professor.
And she was a student.
And she was a student, and he was married. And her roommate was like, George Marsh is the most attractive man on campus. And they were in line for lunch one day, and they exchanged a couple giggles, you know, and then that was it. And when she was initially in the honeymoon phase and all in love and admiring him, she used to read everything he wrote. And then she stopped because she was like, whatever, he's putting out books, whatever. But all she knew about this book was that it was about a sex worker that nobody liked. Yeah. So when her favorite bakery ladies, what did she say to her?
She said, isn't it he wrote it about you? He's never done that before. And she was like, what do you mean about me? And she's like, well, she has your mannerisms, and on and on.
Mm-hmm.
And Mrs. March completely spirals, loses her mind. And it just goes downhill from there. It's sparked psychosis in her.
100%.
And it was just slow burn psychosis.
That's what makes it delicious. Because, I've seen people spiral out. I've spiraled out before, you know. And you know that the things that you're doing don't necessarily make sense, but the degree to which they don't make sense for her, and I think, I take that back. They do make sense to her because like the narcissism is so strong. She's so self-centered that everything has to be about her, and not in that she like forces it outwardly, like she's a little bit scared of their housekeeper. She doesn't really put stuff out. She's always like, am I the image of propriety that my mother has foisted upon me? And like nobody else is checking for her like that. But she, just in case they are, she needs to be perfect. And watching that unravel throughout the whole thing is just fascinating. High reread value.
I think one of the most interesting things about Mrs. March, the person, is that no one knows who she really is. Because the closest would be her sister, only because her sister knows her past. But even her craziness, she hides from her sister and puts on a show.
Yeah,
because
she's
she
so
wants
great
to
at
be
masking.
impressive. She masks constantly.
Mask 101.
That's why inside her head is like juggling raccoons.
You said juggling raccoons?
Yes. So yeah, nobody really knows who she is. And even at one point, she talks about when she and George were first dating, how she didn't want to ruin it with her personality. And so like the husband she's been with all these years truly has no idea who she is because she just plays pretend constantly. And we get glimpses into her childhood and learn that she was nutty back then too.
Yeah. Her imaginary friend Kiki.
And her self-centeredness. So she was born with it, I guess.
So people always say like the mother is always in the room when here, cheers. Oh, look, our dicey style cup. The mother is always in the room, and her mother did a number on her, but her mother is like totally like, I'm imagining super waspy and like, you got to keep up appearances. You have to do this. Don't inconvenience me. Cause Mrs. March comes from money, right? Mrs. March comes from money, and she married oh my God, an artist, a writer, a divorced artist who already had kids. So strike. And nobody ever expected him to do well, but she was like, I'm going to play the role of supportive wife, and I believe in him. But with that, she carries everything that comes with it. All the, I need to look this way and that way, and people are going to think of it this way. And it's so cool that my husband's so famous, and haha, now look at all you people who said no, that we were not going to make it. And he was just, all of these things that she carries with her. But I don't know that I've ever met a less empathetic character. No, that's not true. She's up there. She's
maybe
up there.
A less empathetic protagonist.
Yeah. And it's not that I don't feel sorry for her. It's that she can't relate to other people and what things might be meaning to them, what they might be costing them.
Even with her child.
She puts
on a show.
Who is also a fucking weirdo.
Yes. But look at who his mother is.
And look at look at who her mother was. Who was that though?
I didn't put a name to it this time. I like the maid, Martha. Mrs. March believes that Martha thinks she's the boss, but she also believes that Martha kind of is the boss.
Yeah.
And there's a scene where Mrs. March tells her what she wants for dinner, and Martha is just like, no, you're not having that.
Yeah, she's like, but this doesn't make sense for right now. And she's like, but it does. And she's like, that thing is that as you just said that, it made me wonder, like Mrs. March was out. We know that they have this dinner party or whatever that's coming up now to celebrate her husband's new book. And we know that she went out to get the breakfast stuff. But for somebody who's a housekeeper, if you're going to eat this or that, you thought it out last night, you put the chicken out this morning, and so now you want to switch lanes. And I get it on Martha's behalf. And when I originally read it, I was like, oh, there's some tension here. Like, who is this housekeeper? Because I'm used to evil housekeepers, you know?
Where did you get evil housekeeper?
What's her name with the keys from Stormglass? The housekeeper in This House Will Feed.
I haven't
initially. Wait, that's the potato famine one.
This House Will Feed.
Yeah, the one that hit. Oh, you haven't read it yet? All right,
no.
Well, yeah,
I have it here, but
you have it here. Yeah, well, coming out in 2026. I know it's out now. And I'm thinking about Flowers in the Attic. It's always the keeper of the keys, and none of those ladies are nice. So I immediately was shoving her in that category, only to find out that this woman's hanging on by a thread. She likes her check.
And I think that Martha is the only person who realizes that Mrs. March is completely psychotic.
Mm-hmm. And Mrs. March is a little jealous because, like, her and Martha and her son have a good relationship.
Mm-hmm.
They like whisper conspiratorially and shit. Like, yeah, exactly. She's just trying to get her check and go home. And sorry, hey, AK, hey, process week. Yeah. Martha's the only one who's like,
she's the only one who sees her.
She sees her every day, all day long, even though Mrs. March avoids her like the plague.
And even that is such a weird thing to do, that the other person is going to pick up on it.
Yeah.
You know, so her attempts to appear, you know, normal are it's just such a fail, because Martha is just watching her. It's like Martha's watching her, like, trying on skin.
Yeah.
And she's hiding
gross.
it, you know?
Yeah.
Nobody will ever know that this isn't my skin. But it's like, no, I can see you putting it on. Like, I can't unsee that now.
And other people do too. Other people do too, but they're being super polite. You know, like, this is an Upper East Side, like, apartment co-op situation where the people with money live, and everybody else is just being really polite to her. But then she's, you know, is she being polite enough? If she's not being polite, she has like intrusive thoughts. Her intrusive thoughts are on a level that, you know, she's like in the bathtub one day and she's like, oh my God, did I tip the doorman for Christmas? And like, she gets out, she like puts on a bathrobe and she runs down. And like, there's another time and she's like trying to give him money. And he's like, what is this for? It's, you know, shit like that. Or she's like, oh my God, am I the only one in the building who doesn't know the doorman's name? Like, is everybody else saying hello to him by name and like asking him about his family? I've never even thought if he had a family before, you know? And it's just like, he has your number. He doesn't give a shit. He's like, you're is that her at the door?
Yes.
Like, nobody's checking for you. Like, it's fine. He's used to people like you being there. And if you haven't said hello to him in 20 years, like, why start now? I don't mean that. Like, say what's up to your doorman. Like, don't be fucking rude.
Yeah.
So classist.
It's funny too, because we don't get anyone else's POV. Everything is from her.
Can you highlight AK's comment real quick? As they say, the help always wins. Yeah.
We don't get anyone else's POV. So we don't actually know what these people are thinking. So, you know, maybe some of them are talking about her, because as much as she's trying to appear perfect, I'm sure she's coming off like really weird.
Well, remember her baby shower?
Baby shower. Yes.
Her baby shower. Her husband has another kid, right? So he's married for the second time. And she goes to the bathroom because her morning sickness was terrible. And she hears the other woman whispering, just like, oh man, she can't even take care of herself. Like, he's not going to love the baby as much. It's a second child, blah, 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 rumor. And just, they were all convinced that she just did not know what to do with this kid, and maybe a little bit afraid for the baby, you know? Also, she was cruel to her husband's first child, who she hated, and his picture she even hides when company comes over, you know? Yeah. Like, there's that level of insecurity. Of so other people are like, oh, well, we're here because you invited us, and we feel bad because we know no one else is going to come, you know? Right. But your husband is a famous author, so here we are, that kind of thing. And it's, for the baby shower, I felt bad for her. But then she took all the gifts that they gave them and she threw them in the trash. She's like, I don't need your shit.
Because again, she's nuts.
I'm rich, bitch.
Like, I'll just buy it all again.
I mean, yeah, because she came from money. George didn't come from money, but she came from money.
She has that ex-boyfriend who thought she was using him for money, and she was like, "But my family is richer than his." Do you remember that? It's a memory of hers when she sees him somewhere. But yeah, people are looking at her like she's crazy. I'm convinced it's not all in her head.
Yeah. And, she does confront George at some point and be like, wait a second, did you base this character on me? And he is like, huh? And she's like, well, this. And he's like, I don't really think it's like she's a amalgamation of all these women who I've known over the years. And I'm like, oh, okay. Because I would love to read Johanna now, right? Like I would love to read that book. And as if it came out as a separate thing, I wouldn't be mad. We would totally talk about it here. But other people recognize her. Other people recognize Mrs. March in Johanna, and even when they do the celebration, like the book release party at their house, because the book is so successful, she leaves the room to do her perfect strawberries and cream, darling. And on the way back, she hears somebody whisper, do you think she knows it's about her, or something like that?
So here's a thought I have. I don't think she really heard that.
I don't think she did either.
I think she hallucinated that.
I don't think she heard it either. I think like the giggles and stuff, you're already filling in the blanks on what you think people are saying about you. And the part that I think that makes me actually sad about her is that people 100% think it's about her because of the way that they're like, oh, you're so similar. Or, did he have you in mind? Like, it must be such an honor for him to like work you into a character, not being like, I can see how you're inspiration, but we know that this is not you, know, like you're not like an ugly sex worker who nobody actually wants to sleep with and is actually so despicable that you start feeling bad for her, that you're not that, but the shoe fits. if you identify so strongly, then that's on you.
It's true.
That's on you.
The other part of this is the mystery part.
Oh yes. Murder mystery.
That girl.
Who killed Kimmy Gibbler? Sylvia Gibbler.
Yeah.
Kimmy Gibbler's from us. Full House.
Yeah. So, girl in Maine went missing, presumed dead, and Mrs. March, because she's crazy, thinks that her husband did it because he goes to Maine sometimes.
And she finds a newspaper clipping in his desk.
Right. He had a newspaper clipping in his desk, which, he says was for research. Very well could be. But she's like, yeah, no, he absolutely killed that girl. So part of this is her trying to uncover this murder mystery without telling anyone.
And she knows that she's ill-equipped for it, but she's also like, but maybe I could find this out. Maybe because, and this is where the replacement thing comes in, right? She's like, well, maybe this isn't actually my husband. And if my husband is capable of murder, like, do I really know who he is? Like,
like, can you imagine you're sitting in your living room with your spouse and you're just like looking at them adoringly and they're looking back at you, but the whole time they're thinking like, who is this wearing my husband's skin?
No.
He has no idea the train wreck going through her mind at all times. He just somehow has no idea because she doesn't say these things out loud. But she reacts really weirdly to things.
Yeah. Yeah.
So people definitely pick up on that.
I have to, it makes me wonder, like we hear about their interactions, like they eat dinner together sometimes he's off in his study, that he's on book tours a lot. And if she's so good at keeping herself a secret because he doesn't really know who she is, but isn't that suspicious in and of itself? Like at some point in your marriage, you're just like, oh, that's just the way she is. Like, whatever. Jervon or Jervin. I'm thinking Jervon.
What do you mean?
It says I can't read. I'm here for the audio.
No, I meant, what do you mean about not knowing who the spouse is?
Like looking at somebody and being like, I actually don't know who you are. And I mean, just like, we've been married all this time, but I don't know anything about you. I only know what you present. I only know the person that you introduce yourself as at social functions, but otherwise you're just kind of moving through the house. I know that you kind of take care of the household. I know that you kind of do stuff with the kid, and I suppose there's other shit you do, but you were always my number one supporter, and you're not doing anything that's keeping me from reaching my goals. But deep down inside, like, I don't even know what your deepest desire is. I don't know what, if we had all the money in the world, which they do, like, what would you want to do? Like, if we had to go vacation anywhere, where would you want to go? Like, not knowing that, if I had to buy you a book to read, what genre would it be? Like, what's your favorite dessert? Because she's always like, well, whatever you want.
Right.
She's got no personality. Her personality is having no personality.
I don't think he cares to know who she is. I think he enjoyed being adored by an attractive younger woman who just went along with whatever he liked. Because remember, she didn't want to ruin it by introducing her personality. So she's just been faking it the whole time. And I think that he doesn't even care to know. It's just the wife at home. I'll just give her the money for shopping.
Yeah, I would say they both did the status. I don't know if it's the status thing, but they both did the traditional thing, the conventional thing. Go to school, whatever, get married, have a kid, divorce, get married, have another kid. And then just like, she's the one who stuck with you through your success. So I'm just staying there because like, she's not harming my career. And she likes what I like, and she's just easy to deal with. Like, yeah, maybe she's a little bit weird, but like I said, it hasn't been an obstacle. She's not making problems for me.
Right.
But she is weird.
She's so weird. I can't imagine knowing somebody like that, who's just like really weird all the time and you don't know what's happening in their head.
Yeah, I'm sure it's exhausting.
You say all the weird shit out loud.
Yeah. Yeah. It happens. It happens. And sometimes, it happens. And I think that she's so used to being dismissed by people. Like, it's like when you engage with somebody who's kind of weird, you like do the talk until you're like, oh, are those canapes? And you walk over and get like, your hors d'oeuvre. And I think that there's a lot of that's happening, but she also, as narcissistic and self-centered as she is, she's also very, it's like on one half she's masking, but on another half she knows that she has to limit her exposure to other people. She can't stay in the same group. Like, even if she wants to, she can't, because, oh shit, something weird just happened in my head and I need to make sure nobody else notices that, so I need to move on to someone else. Like, and as a hostess, that's something that you need to do, so nobody's gonna think twice about it until you try to engage her in like an actual conversation. And then you realize that she's kind of got no opinion. And, you've talked to people like that. You're just like, oh, whatever you like. Or it's one thing to kind of be quiet and absorb things, but it's another thing to like pretend to be interesting, I guess. Yeah. Or to make the fact that you are, that you appear to be keeping it all together, your personality as well.
Yeah. I mean, the only thing she has going for her is that she's George March's wife.
Yeah.
She doesn't have her career. She had the child, but really does nothing with him. She just kind of sends him places.
Yeah, just an heir. I'm surprised they didn't do a spare, but yeah,
right.
An heir.
He's just there.
Mm-hmm.
She doesn't have friends. She doesn't have hobbies.
No.
So she
majored in art history.
She majored in art history and learned nothing about art.
Yeah, she goes to the Met, she goes to the museums, and she just wants to be seen looking interested in art at the museum, because how cool is that? Her kid gets suspended for doing something to a girl that we never find out. They never talk about it. We just know that it was such a big deal that she had to be called into the school, and that her husband gives him a stern talking to, and he gets suspended. But because she doesn't want people to know that, she's like, well, isn't it cute for me to take him out during the day because like he wants to spend extra time with dad or whatever, you know? Wow, I've never, just somebody who is just into social constructs and perceptions so hard, and to still not really fit in is really wild. The audiobook is great too. I have to say that since you said that the audiobook is great. I've listened to it several times. Shout out to the narrator whose name I can't remember. I think it's Elizabeth something. And it's just, there are so many moments that are like, what the fuck? Oh no, she didn't. And you start to question your grasp on reality too. You're like, is she seeing cockroaches in the bathroom? Because nobody else is seeing them.
But she also can't ask if anybody has cockroaches because she doesn't want them to think she has cockroaches. Just in case it's real. Just in case it's real, right? How embarrassing would it be to be, hello, Skip Team Muppet, to be the person in the building who has the vermin, you know? And one of the things I love about this book, the debut, is like, especially reading a Victorian Psycho before, is seeing like kind of themes that have got going on. Like Virginia Feito really likes talking about people's eyes, and she really likes talking about like the photographs and the images. And there is just like almost like a schizophrenic approach to both of these characters. Like Victorian Psycho, we know, what's our girl's name, Tanya? Winifred Naughty.
We both know Winifred Naughty. We know she's unhinged. We know that from the beginning, from the right? Opening. Like we're like, oh wait, that carriage driver is like hand on the leg. That's gross. But then it's like, you know, she gets into the room and the darkness slithers around, and we're like, wait a second. What do you mean the darkness has come out of you and is looking across the room? You know, because she's also funny, like, in which I meet my employers and I'm not impressed. Right. Right. So there's this like other like sense of humor that's going along. And I think the difference between these two characters is not that I'm justifying murder, but, you know, Winifred's dad is a piece of shit. He's a piece of shit, you know, and it's also classist. And that's where you kind of see what's happening here. It's like a very classist perspective, trying to keep up with what you think you're supposed to be, but at the detriment of maybe thinking that you've outgrown your need for meds. Yeah, you don't grow out of that type of crazy.
She gets so jealous of other women because they're not masking like she is.
Mm-hmm. I love that part. Talk more about it.
She sees, for instance, her neighbor who's just carefree. She has a short haircut. She's just kind of doing whatever. Mm-hmm. And she's like, the fuck? Like, how can she live like this? But at the same time, it's like, man, I wish I was this interesting. I wish my apartment was decorated this well. Like, do I need to throw everything out? You know, she compares herself to other people constantly.
Yeah.
We have the scene where she goes to try on a bra and is convinced that the sales girls are outside the door giggling about her. So she leaves and never returns again. Just goes to a different store where there's like an old woman with moles all over who's fawning over her and telling her how great her body is and so much better than other women. She's like,
they're like, oh, this woman has money to spend. Right. And it's funny because she talks about, so we're going to stop saying it's funny, but she talks about the difference in the demographics who are going. Like, the people who go to the bra shop during the day are not the same people who are like tearing the racks apart at 5 p.m. because they need to get home and do something else, you know. And she doesn't want to be seen with the 5 o'clock people. No. So she might as well go somewhere nobody knows her, but knows that she has money, so she can be fawned over. And that's the whole book. It's like this weird sense of entitlement that's like wrapped in trauma and drama, and just this unwillingness to take risks to be who you are, but because of the things that you experienced when you were a child, like from your mom's rejection or whatever, and it's hard when you are the younger child and everybody knows you're maybe a little bit crazy, I guess. I don't know, I'm the oldest. And everybody's like, the oldest sister is doing this, so there's this constant comparison. Mm-hmm. And yeah, she doesn't handle that well.
I think even though we spend the entire book inside her head, we still don't really get to know her.
No, because she's Mrs. March the entire book.
She's Mrs. March the entire book, and she never thinks about, like, I think I would enjoy doing XYZ. It's always, I should be seen enjoying this so that other people will think that
I'm the type of person who...
So you never find out what does she like to eat. We have no idea because she doesn't even think about it.
No.
What does she like to do with her time?
It's like, I thought that we almost had her on the Baked Alaska, which I've still never had and really, really want to. Good. I believe
Gotta
it.
Go to Delmonico's and get it.
Well, let's do that.
Okay.
I would love to. And she's like, well, do I want to order that? Do I not want to order that? It's going to take so long. Are we, like, there's all of that. And then she expects to be treated. It's like, she's a walking contradiction. Mm-hmm. Her husband's like, you know what? Shit was weird at the party. I'm going to take you on a date. Where do you want to, I've made reservations, blah, blah, blah. But she's like, wait a second. Why aren't we getting our like usual table that's like off to the side and secluded or whatever? He's like, it was the last minute thing. She's like, well, if you told them who you are, we could have like had this table. And he was like, yeah, it's fine. And now she's going through the thing where like, nobody's coming up and recognizing him, but also she would hate if people were coming up and recognizing him. She used to hate when that happened, and nobody's doing it now, but she would hate it even more because she doesn't want anybody to ask about this new book.
Because it might be about her.
It might be about her.
And we get a glimpse into her hallucinations when she's in the bathroom and in the speakers that plays music throughout the restaurant. Somehow they're talking about her and how this book is about her.
Yeah.
And it's like, when you get to that part, you know that that's not really happening.
Yeah. She's like, they're playing the audiobook or something. And like,
yeah.
When have you ever heard anybody play an audiobook in the bathroom? I mean, I would stay there if it was nice.
At home, but not like in a restaurant.
Yeah. Yeah. And there's so many other things that come up like that. And you're just like, well, wait. But not only that, she's fucking petty.
Yes.
She's petty. She's a little bit of a klepto. She's here for the revenge, if it makes sense, as long as it can't be seen as coming from her. She's a child who never grew up. She fulfilled her expectations in life. She went to school, she graduated, she got married, she had a kid. The end. And she's not even like cool enough to be a socialite because she's weird and people know it.
And she's not even like fun weird, where you're
not even fun.
No, she's just being herself. Leave her alone. Like, no, she's just weird, creepy, making you uncomfortable weird.
Because you know that she's not being herself.
And she's so neurotic. I love her.
Me too.
Crazy.
I like that. I mean, I think that's a genius thing about her as a character, is that she never wavers. There's never like a moment of clarity, like, oh shit, am I being crazy? It's like, no. This is just like, I saw the devil. And you're like, well, you did kind of, but not the way that you thought, there's a very strong capacity for disassociation that she has. And wow, because it's not like she hasn't had traumatic experiences. She has, but in Victorian Psycho, when Winifred kills that baby and puts it in a box and then exchanges it with another baby.
It's supposed to spoil that, remember?
Oh, well, it's been, how many months has it been since we've done that?
I don't know.
Oops. Sure, when she goes to UPS with an undocumented package. Like, she really, like, Winifred knows what she's doing. She knows that she's crazy. She knows that she's not normal. She knows what normal is. And her masking is more like, all right, well, I'm still going to be crazy, but let me just bring it down here. Mrs. March, like, she knows that sometimes what she's thinking might not be right, but you couldn't convince her. You couldn't convince her. It would take, even if you told her, like, hey, you know, I know this is a little bit crazy, but it's going to be okay. She would not believe you. Like, why are you saying that to me? What do you have to gain by telling me that I'm not a little bit crazy? Are you actually thinking about something else? Are you saying that because you think that I'm the one in the book and you don't want to hurt my feelings, but I know that that's what you're thinking? Like, she's in the grocery store and she sees her husband's book in somebody's cart and she steals it. She's like, nope, you don't get to read this book. No, I can't have people thinking these things about me. You know,
she even considers buying all of the copies and then realizes that won't work.
Yeah.
She destroys a copy at home.
At home, the one she reads, and is like, oh, what do I do?
Just take off your pantyhose and stuff the pages inside them. That's the perfectly normal reaction to something like that.
She's a wild one. She's a wild one. And you're right. Like, we see her son is not normal either. And she doesn't spend enough time with him to know that, really. She just is a little bit unsettled by him, you know? And she thinks that Martha and him have some kind of, like, you know, deep friendship or whatever, because she doesn't have it with him, but she doesn't try to pursue one either unless it's for appearances, right? I need to be seen taking you to the park and buying you cotton candy and like everything that you can eat, because I want everybody to know that I'm a cool mom, right? Yeah. I didn't cut my hair short, but I'm still a cool mom. And she just can't handle the possibility of this criticism and this scrutiny. But then when she wants something, she's super determined and will get it. You know, like she wanted George Marsh because he was the most attractive professor on campus. Mm-hmm. Everybody else wanted him, you know? So she figured out how to make herself small enough to be attractive to him. And she's like, okay, got that. No, what's next? And what's next is never anything that's actually rational, because she fancies herself like an investigative reporter and like partially police.
I won't spoil it, but the lengths she goes through to try and prove that her husband is a murderer is just absolutely unhinged. She's convinced that she has no evidence or anything.
Zero. Other than a news clipping and the fact that their friend has a cabin in the area.
Right. And yet time and money and a lot of effort goes into trying to prove that he's this murderer, because she wants to make sure she has the proof before she turns him into the police. Right. He has no idea.
None.
His wife is trying to collect evidence that he's a murderer. And when you were reading it, did you start to think maybe he did kill her?
I did start to think maybe he did. I was like, oh my God, he was in the right place at the right time. He did this thing. And I, like, if I allowed myself to adopt her mindset, I was like, okay, well, we know that killers keep trophies and souvenirs and they go back to the scene of the crime and the stuff. And, to that end, like, oh, maybe he really did it. Maybe he really did it. I don't think he did it because I think she's crazy, but like, I don't know.
When I started it, I did not read what it was about. So I just jumped in.
I was like, Virginia Feito, yay!
Yeah. And so I started to think, oh, this is what this is about. This is what it's about, this woman uncovering whether or not her husband is a murderer.
Right.
Until I found out that that is not what this book is about. That is part of it, but that is not what what this book is about. It is not a murder mystery. And
I mean, it is, but not.
Well, yeah, it has a murder mystery element to it. But you realize this book, it really is only about Mrs. March.
Oh, yeah. It's only about her. And I find that delightful. I like that we get to like really get into her head and stay there and just see what the world looks like, you know, like, is she being followed? Is she not being followed? Is she, every time somebody tries to have like an important conversation with her, she like takes the first sentence and then goes off and writes her own story, you know, or just completely blanks out and comes back and is like, oh shit, I'm too embarrassed to say that I wasn't paying attention. So I'm just going to be like, okay, sure.
Right.
Crazy. She's so crazy.
It's a fun book. It's short.
It is a fun book. It's a short book. It's a fun book. The audio is really enjoyable to listen to. The writing is really fun. Like, I love a book that you can look at and just be like, what the fuck?
The narrator is Elizabeth Rogers.
Elizabeth Rogers. Shout out to you, Elizabeth Rogers. I fully enjoyed listening to it every single time that I did. And I just and I think the other thing I enjoyed about it is I have no desire for a sequel. I like how it ended. I like the ambiguity, you know? I like that we were set up to like have an ending where you had to kind of think about what's what, you know?
Yeah.
And we can't, we'll talk about this offline because I don't want to spoil that for anybody, but
yeah, I definitely flipped back a couple pages and reread because I was like, wait, what? Yeah.
It's not a Sanderland, but it's like,
read that again.
Right. It's just like, this all is happening so quickly now. And there's, but, you know, it's like when Dumbledore dies and you're like, wait, that didn't happen. And you go back and you're like, oh, fuck, for real? He's dead. Mrs. March is like that. And the best part about this book is that even though all these like heavy topics are going on, like you're like, is she sane? Is she not sane? Is she this petty? Is she not? Is the book about her? Is the book not about her? What is it taking on? Because if the book was actually about her and actually based on her, and you're like the ugly prostitute that nobody wants to sleep with, and everybody knows that, like, I would be offended too. Like, I'm not honored that I'm in his book. Like, that's how you're portraying me. I'm your wife. Right. I had your kid and I didn't want, like, it was a terrible experience. All of that. And you just like, you think of these things and you're just like, okay, well, no, but I still feel like she's crazy.
Can you imagine Mrs. March with a daughter?
No. Actually, no, that's not true. I can't imagine her with a daughter. And I think the book would be very different. I think that somehow she would not have been as successful in traumatizing her daughter in the same way that she was traumatized. Mrs. March is the type of parent who, if they have a daughter and they are not like indoctrinated to the shame of it all, that would have left the house and never came back. Like as soon as she was 18, like gone.
No contact.
Absolutely not. Oh, no, your mom. No, it's okay. No, just tell her I said Merry Christmas. Bye. You know? And I get it. Because I don't even want to have her as a mom as a son.
No, but I just think that her having a daughter would be a different dynamic, different type of crazy. Because I think she would then be modeling the daughter after herself. So that she could also pretend to be perfect.
Yeah. I mean, she wants to be able to do the things that her mom, like, make her have a good marriage. Like, imagine how she would feel if her daughter was like, I'm going to marry this author. He's an aspiring writer. And she'd be like, no, you're not. No, you're not. No, I did that so you could be able to marry better. You know,
this just reminded me when Martha Stewart's daughter got married. I think she eloped. And when people found out she was engaged, it's Martha Stewart's daughter. Martha Stewart is going to plan a wedding. Like, yeah. No, it's going to be like all this stuff. And then her daughter was like, nope. And I was like, oh my God, I would be ripped into shreds if I was Martha Stewart. And my daughter is getting married and I don't get to plan anything.
I think I would make her do it over again.
Yeah, I think that would be Mrs. March.
Yeah.
Daughter would absolutely elope and move away. And Mrs. March would have no part in it. She wouldn't get to show her off. She wouldn't get to show off whatever grandchildren might come because I think her daughter would recognize that she was crazy. And I think her son also, you know, when he grows up, will know. Like,
will he though? Because he's crazy too.
He is.
He is crazy. Like he's doing the things like drawing the pictures of the crazy shit, you know?
Yeah.
You know, like the other mom, Mrs. March confronts her neighbor, who's her son's friend. And she, at some point in the book, she's like, these kids are not hanging out together. Your son is a bad influence. And this woman who has been like, you know, taking her son away to hang out because she knows that everybody can feel it's a little bit up there, you know? And she's like, oh, no. Actually, your son is a bad influence on my son. I don't like their friendship, but like, we know that you're crazy, bitch. So I'm taking him for his own protection. Like, well, you know, your neighbors don't know you.
Well, it's a book I recommend for sure, obviously, since we're talking about it.
Yeah. I love when I do books where I'm like, hey, Tanya's like, I have too much to read. I'm like, I know. But hey, Tanya, she does that to me too, right? You're like, no, this one you have to read. You really, it's short.
It's short. The audiobook is only like 8 hours.
Yeah. You could listen to that like, you know, a couple of days of work. Yeah. Or over a work week. Do a couple hours a day. And reading it, I was like, what the fuck? I would be out in the city walking around and I would stop it. Did she really just do that? And I don't know because we talked about like replacement phobias and stuff, but like as much as she feels that her husband might not be him, she does also wonder, she's like, well, am I who I am? Who am I? And she takes that to a place that I feel like I should have seen coming. But yeah, it's
a short read and it's packed with a lot of crazy.
It's packed with a lot. It's like high reread value. We need like a reread value scale since we do read more than once, right? Yeah. Like it's a 10 on our reread scale.
And it's great to just listen to.
It's a full bottle.
Yeah.
You're right on an empty stomach where it's like it's 750 milligrams of reread, like 100% read it because it's funny, it's smart, it's having read Victorian Psycho and like having read several debut novels, it does feel like a debut novel a little bit, but only in retrospect, right? Like after having read the second one, having read Victorian Psycho, but still, it's so entertaining. I was not bored, not a second, because just when you think it's not crazy, like it gets crazy. And the most mundane things turn into a production. You're like, but I know people like that. Or
I definitely started reading it. Like sometimes I get into like a reading slump, particularly a book that I really should just not finish. And then it's like
shout out to Goodreads on the did not finish.
Thank you for adding the DNF shelf because I needed it.
Yeah.
This was not a book this was a book that pulled me out of a reading slump. Once I started it, it's all I wanted to do.
Yeah. Yeah.
I just wanted to read it. I was so sad when it was over.
Yeah. But also just like, Victorian Psycho was like that too. I was like, oh no, I have to start this over again.
Yeah.
Like what happens here, you know?
Yeah.
And I wouldn't always, because since we hallucinated that we did this already, I didn't like always start the audiobook from the beginning. Sometimes I just jump into places that I'm like, I don't remember processing what happened in this section because I was like so stuck on what had happened before or what came after it. And no matter where you drop into the book, she's still crazy. Like something's happening. And the things that I want to feel bad for her about, I'm like, well, this is shitty. This is ignorant parenting, like these things couldn't be happening to my child. And if they are, we're going to lock her in the attic, except we can't because everybody knows she's here.
We should add that the story does not take place in the 2020s.
Yeah.
Just put it in context. It sounds like it's like maybe the 60s.
I would even say like 80s. Yeah, I would. Like, I could actually have, because she paints such a vivid picture of like the Upper East Side and stuff. The only thing that's missing for me is cell phones and like laptops, right? So without those things, I could still kind of place it or see it happening at any time. But I guess if I had to do it, I would put it in like the early 2000s or the 90s. But I never thought about like casting it in a specific, or like setting it in a specific era. To me, it could be anytime USA.
Yeah, I think the whole time I was imagining it in like the late 60s.
Yeah. I mean, it makes sense when I think of, maybe that's just how my brain is programmed or how it's been conditioned when I think about like who's now an older woman with kids and her husband was a professor. It's giving a love story like that era. Like he kind of had long hair probably, and all that stuff.
I think because she describes him in his cardigan.
Mm-hmm.
It made me picture like, the cardigan that they all wore.
Yeah. I can see that. Yeah.
Yeah. And there were some other things too.
But I feel like English professors, the cardigan is timeless. All of mine had one, it's kind of the look, or like the kind of cool, thrifted briefcase that was like passed down. You're like, it's kind of ugly, but it's kind of cool. And I know that's like the accessory of your wardrobe because everything else is a little bit trash, and that's kind of what it reminded me of.
I pictured George March basically looking like the NASA guys in the photos from the 60s, but like with a cardigan.
That's hilarious.
With a cardigan instead of a tie.
I see the cardigan. I see a pipe. I see just like a guy who's like aging well, and you could understand why like women have been attracted to him for his whole life. Like, I get it. Like, if I was in his class, I would have had a crush on him too, maybe. But like, also,
another reason why I didn't think later than the 60s was because of her lack of a career. I think had it taken place in like the 70s or 80s, that she wouldn't be so blasé about going to college and just getting married and not even doing a charity like she just does.
Right. I felt like, because I'm ignorant about people who have that much money, I was just like, maybe that's just how it still is, like, I'm sure you have a boat and like, you're just supposed to make things, but you're right. Like sitting on a board or, like doing, running a charity or being part of some kind of philanthropic group. Right. She didn't know that. She just like comes home and like, what does she really do all day? Like,
what does she do all day? She doesn't cook. She doesn't clean. She doesn't take.
But you bet she got that ring.
Yeah, kind of shops and like, I would imagine she just sits in the dark, like what is it? Fatal Attraction. Is that the one with Glenn Close?
Yeah.
She just sits in the dark the whole day, just flicking her lamp on and off, waiting for George to get home. Or waiting for Martha to arrive.
Right.
Oh, wait, no, Martha comes in the morning.
Martha comes early, yeah. Martha comes early.
She spends all day hiding from Martha.
Yeah. And it's not like, it's a nice apartment, but it's not like huge. Like they have their bedroom, there's a study, there's a guest bedroom, they have, all the stuff like the kitchen. I would love to see the apartment. But if she's not going out and shopping, or she's not going out and like being seen at a museum, like what does she do? She's not on the PTA. Like, no shade, like, out of PTA sounds like a tough job to me, but she's not on the PTA. She's, like you said, she's not doing anything philanthropic. She's literally spends all of her time figuring out how to appear the most normal. And that's exhausting.
Yeah.
That's exhausting. But I love her. I love how unhinged she is. I love being like, no, why would you think that? Like, weird. Like, how did you get there?
You get so uncomfortable sometimes when you're reading her.
Yeah.
It's very cringy.
She's very cringy. And all I want to do is like for her to have, we didn't talk about like isolation, but we did talk about her sister being like the one who kind of knows her and is kind of just like, don't you remember this? Like, don't you remember you when you used to do that?
But she knows she's crazy, but doesn't know how crazy.
Yeah. And it's just like, there's this isolation. Like you said, she doesn't have a friend that she can call. Tanya and I do this too. I'm like, can I tell you something crazy? Like,
Yeah.
like I can't say this to anybody else, but can I say this to you right now? Because like, you know, she doesn't have that.
Right.
And I don't know if it's everybody else is pretending that they're not crazy, but like there's something that happens in the grocery store where she steals this book, right? Turns out whatever, this is not big enough to really be like, oh, it's a spoiler. But she ends up meeting with this woman later in the grocery store or in somewhere. And the woman goes on and she's like, blah, 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 blah. I can't believe that it's gossiping about this other woman whose husband was seeing somebody. And like now she's like broke and she's been seen dating other men. And
another reason why I thought this took place in the 60s was because that neighbor was horrified that the wife had to go find a job.
Right. So she's like, but I feel like that for me, it's like also a class thing. I'm like, well, maybe that's just not what you do still. And she's gossiping about this woman. And she's like, and can you believe that? Like, I told her this thing about me and she wouldn't even like dish on herself. Right. I was trying to be a friend by being vulnerable and she didn't tell me this and this and that. And I thought, and it's just like Mrs. March is thinking, well, okay, like, this is the same thing that's happening. Like, I'm not going to dish about myself to you because now I see what you're doing to other people, which is what I think that other people are doing about me. And I can't. And so because she doesn't have another friend to do this with, and she also sees what the type of friend who she could be able to do that with would do to her, it just reinforces the whole thing that you've got to stay isolated. Like, you can't let people know how crazy you are because I don't even think that she realizes how crazy she is.
No,
and that's where the magic happens.
Yeah, she's doing the right things. Yeah, in order to keep everything cool, keep everything normal. This is what I have to do, and it's like us on the outside being like, "What? No, please don't.
That's not how." Oh no! Now what's gonna happen? What's gonna happen? She made the wrong choice. Is she like? There's so much I love about this book. And like a lot of that has to do with, oh no, what's going to happen when she does this? Who's going to find out? Will anybody find out? Because she skates her way through the book with people just being like, she's a little weird. I'm just going to let her do what she does. I'm going to say hi and good afternoon or whatever. And then I'm going to keep it moving. I want to know more about her, but I can totally see that this book is a touchy subject. And if I were her, like, it's about a sex worker. I get it. I wouldn't really want to be associated with it. But like, is she really taking it that seriously? Right. Yes. The answer is yes. She's absolutely taking it that seriously.
So if you have not read Mrs. March, please read Mrs. March. Do it right now.
Do it right now. I'd like take a book outside. If you're in New York, go outside and fucking read.
What do we have coming up, Nikki?
Tuesday. On Tuesday, we're doing our Postponed 30 Tuesday because our theme of the week is postponements.
Clearly.
Reschedules. And we're doing The Good Son, Macaulay Culkin, Elijah Wood. Whew. Wow.
What better way to celebrate Mother's Day?
And crazy kids.
To do it Mother's Day week. But what better way to celebrate Mother's Day than to think about possibly killing kids?
And Mrs. March, a crazy mom and possibly killing kids.
So yeah, perfect. Yeah. That will be May 26th, 9 p.m. Eastern.
Yeah. Oh yeah, not this Tuesday, next Tuesday.
Yeah.
I'm time traveling.
And I think that's for now.
That's it for now. I think we have a couple. Our next book is Furies.
Is it?
Yes.
We'll talk about that offline.
I've been trying to get Tanya to read Furies of Calderon and forever. And it was supposed to be our book for last month. And it wasn't.
I still hadn't read it.
And she still hadn't read it.
But I've read it now.
Yeah. And she liked it. So KKU is also on our list for next month. So we'll figure it out. And shout out to Stephen, who we had last time. It was so much fun talking to you.
Yes, go back and look up our Brain Fruit episode.
Yeah, really go read Brain Fruit. Let it break your brain.
We were having a really smart day that day.
We were having a
good Taravangian day.
Taravangian, ace the test. Boom! Brandon Sanderson reference. Check. So we've got that, and then we're gonna figure out the rest of the summer because we've been busier than we've been in a long time.
Life
There's
has
a lot
been
of stuff
lifing.
going on. Yeah. And as much as we love doing this, there's just bills that need to be paid. We have to, in this economy, we could take an hour on a Sunday to talk about books. Yeah,
you know how much cereal costs now? We have to work. We got to go to work.
Dollar General, 2 for $6.
A box of cereal in a just supermarket costs more than the federal minimum wage.
Yeah, it does. It does.
You'd have to work more than 1 hour in order to afford a single box of cereal.
Yeah.
So let's keep that in mind.
Mm-hmm. And if you're driving there, forget about it. You don't even break even.
Oh my God, no.
So yeah. So we have to do the things that we want to, just like we always tell people, like if you're a freelancer or an entrepreneur, you have to do the things that pay the bills in order to do the things that you love doing. And that's where we are right now. So
have mercy on us.
Please.
And if you're listening on the podcast, this might be months later. I am so sorry.
If you're seeing these clips on socials, it's probably months later. But it's evergreen. Like this book is always a great book. Like the stuff that we do here and on 30 Tuesdays, the show is like you can jump in anytime. Yeah, anytime. So a boon and a curse.
Boon and a curse. You first. What's your boon?
Oh shit, I wasn't ready.
No, you weren't ready.
Well, you know what? Think of as somebody to Tanya has one of her new hobbies is hooting as someone would sound as an owl. So if you're in the chat right now, while we think of what we want our boons to be, please put in a person who you would like Tanya hoot as if they were an owl.
That sounds so crazy when you actually say all of it out loud.
But it's so funny when it happens.
I haven't even finished my wine. I need more wine to be hooting. Okay. My boon is to be able to pause time so that I can get things done. But while the time is paused, to not be aging. So if I unpause, I don't want to be 5 years older because I forgot to pause for 5 years. You get what I mean?
Yeah.
So that's my boon.
No blip rolls.
Yeah.
No blip rolls. Okay. You can pause time to get the things that you want done. But right before you hit unpause, something happens that you won't have time to fix. Right. You get to the end of the thing in this conference or whatever, or let's say you were producing a video or whatever, you get it, it's done. And then somehow, some way, the footage actually gets deleted or something like that. So now you have to go back to the present time knowing that you still didn't, you got it done, but it didn't work out. Fumble door.
All right. Fumble door as an owl. Oh. That is
making this a reel.
All right, what's your boon?
My boon is that whenever my guitar strings have reached the end of their days, that they will automatically be changed without me needing the special tools. Because every time I ask somebody if they can help me, and I'm going to learn to do it myself, they're like, oh, it's a classical guitar, and they don't do it. So I want those strings to always be in perfect order, like in Jack and the Beanstalk and the harp, just perfection always.
Your strings will automatically refresh into brand new strings. But for the first 3 days of playing after the refresh, you're going to keep cutting the pads of your fingers.
Ooh, no.
Like little paper cuts from the strings.
Oh, that's terrible.
It's horrible.
I thought you were going to say something like the neck is going to crack.
That's going too far.
Well, yeah, thank you for still letting me play.
It's just going to hurt. That's all. You're going to play with Band-Aids on.
Oh, how to do slide guitar instead then.
Yeah.
It didn't look like slide guitar, but
no, it didn't. And on that note,
happy
Happy wine on an
Happy
empty
Sunday.
stomach. I was going to say wine on a Tuesday.
And we do that too.
Well, no. I usually do
that.
beer, but happy Sunday. Read Mrs. March. Check out our 30 Tuesday streams and find us wherever you listen to podcasts.
Yeah. And we're going to go and move into our awkward, we're ending the stream smile.
All right. Peace signs. For previous episodes, find us at thousandeyespodcast.com. On YouTube, you can find us at 1,000 Eyes in One Podcast. If you'd like to follow us on social media, we are 1,000 Eyes in One on Instagram and Facebook, 1,000 Eyes Pod on Blue Sky, and if you're interested in our Speculative Fiction Book Club, follow Wine on an Empty Stomach on Instagram.